Hello, everyone. My name is Igor Tomych, and today you are seeing a new episode of the Fintech Garden News Harvest. And we're discussing the three news that curated by us, me, and Dima. And hello, Dumitru. How are you?
Hello, I'm Dumitru Condrea, co-founder and CEO of Novafin. Yes, we have free news, interesting one, not only related to tokenization and expansion, but something that can reshape the entire European market.
And first one is that JPMorgan is launching retail banking in Germany. And it's a really interesting one because in several news and even episodes, we discussed Chase and its success on the retail side in the United States. And it seems that JPMorgan is jumping into the market with their own brand into the Germany. I think it's an interesting one because we feel and we know over the news there are tensions over the United States and European Union. And it shows that JP Morgan is evaluating the economical growth and possibilities in European Union quite high. Also, it should be put into the mind and context that there are a lot of digital banks and fintechs which are also competing over the German market, like N26 and other startups. And historically, the banking infrastructure and banking landscape is pretty strong in Germany because it's one of the biggest economy in European Union. And even from the cultural perspective, the approach is different from other countries. So I think it's interesting battle, and it would be interesting to find out is it success story for JP Morgan taking United States brand and bringing it to the Germany to compete with the existing landscape.
I think it's a very interesting move from Chase to come to Germany. And to be honest, Germany is a perfect country for them to settle their first operations in continental Europe. Because Germany is a country where the customers there are ready to work with already established, well-established brands or well-established companies, financial, doesn't matter, financial or, I don't know, in the heavy industry, wherever. So Germany, being a very strict regulated, a country where customers are ready to work with. If it's something new, then it has to be a heavy name behind this. As was mentioned, they are starting with very simple products, very simple portfolio, but it proves that it will have some next steps where I think in several years they will launch a lot of retail activities. Possible they also go to business side activities because it's a signal for the German market that things are going well, better and better. Good luck to Chase. Well, I don't know, we can congratulate people from Germany if that they have a new bank inside of a country, but by sure it's a signal that the German market is a very mature one, already established, and everything works well.
Playbook is quite simple. I would like to stress on that because a lot of people asking what are the business models for the new players on the market in fintechs and digital banks. And JP Morgan is sending the simple messages as saving accounts. It means that they will go into the usual playbook for the digital banks. They will offer an ability to onboard online and then ability to get the saving accounts with this institution, which is perfect fit and well-known business model for the banks and for the JP Morgan. So I think that's a great news. And we have the movement vice versa. So Wise is actually aiming to do the primary listing on Nasdaq compared to London Exchange. And I think once again, it shows the turbulence in United Kingdom market and legislation because a lot of innovations are coming from England, and especially in the financial industries, like one of the biggest private evaluated startup in Europe is actually Revolut. And Wise is also well known as one of the most innovative product out there for cross-border payments. And I think the approach that Wise showed over the last decade is shifted a lot from non-real-time, not really transparent transfers with the SWIFT networks and alternatives to well-defined as a digital product process for onboarding, dispatching the payment, having the visibility, and actually lowering the cost for the cross-border transfers. So that shows, despite of the innovations, despite of the really good financial results, sometimes listing on London Stock Exchange still an issue from the taxation perspective, and they go into primary listing on Nasdaq, which, in my opinion, shows that doing business in United States still rocks, even being the company from United Kingdom or European Union.
Well, we have to technically to point out the fact that Wise is not expanding the United States. They're just making a second listing or in parallel listing United States beside United Kingdom. This is basically a strategic shift towards finding resources and finding investors from both sides of Atlantic Ocean. And it possibly will give a visibility for Wise on American market. And who knows, maybe in future they will just, receive interesting ideas or proposals to expand there. Anyways, this is also once again proves the fact that London and New York are quite strong financial centers, and companies who want to, to find strategic investments, strategic partners, or just to do listings, they can do this on both sides and in both cities, and they can in such way will play the role of a major European company, but finding money not only in Europe but in the United States. It can help American investors to see how the things are working in Europe regarding, because when you invest a lot of money in a company, you start to look at this company, you start to read the reports, you analyze the market. Possibly it can be a breach, a cultural breach, an exchange breach of information, best practices. Some companies from America or investors from America will look at Wise and will say like, hey, we can do the same or copy some of the models and some of the things there. At the same time, it proves the fact that a lot of companies from United Kingdom or Europe would like to expand their activities in America. And there is a company from United Kingdom, one of the biggest company in fintech, a company that gives a lot of consumers loans in United Kingdom, the company who is one of the leaders on this segment of the market, Lendable. They are planning to expand in the United States. They want to expand their services there. They want to be present in that market because in United Kingdom, they had 120% growth in 25 comparison with previous year, which is absolutely great. So they're giving loans and 120% of profit comparison with 2024. It shows that their business model can be implemented in America, and want to try to go there and to work and to bring the best practices from Europe there, and also to bring some best practices from America into Europe, to invite investors and to raise money. And it's good because fintech world is, today, specifically in current geopolitical situation, it's good when Europe and America has more tight connections in different business areas.
To put the numbers, Lendable actually reported 20% of the profits, which is 11 millions of pounds, and actually which is generated from 90% increase in revenues, which is 446 million pounds. And it's a really good numbers. Like if you think that having the momentum and growing, which is put in Lendable as in terms of the volume, the biggest lender in United Kingdom. And this was achieved due to extensive machine learning approach. So it's not algorithmic way for credit scoring of the customers. It's more based on machine learning and pulling a lot of data for this. And this company is backed by Goldman Sachs. Actually, it has the same investors that Revolut has, like a Balderon Capital and venture from Passion Capital. So I think that shows that this company is overgrown and showed really good results in the United Kingdom. As I previously said, that also proves that sometimes UK market is not enough. The expansion there, going to United States, going to the Mexico, which is, I think, pretty lucrative markets in terms of the customer credits. It should be really good, and we will see, and we will follow this company in next years.
We have to mention the fact that the company was established in the United States in 2021. But they had quite a lot of years for preparing, for compliance and so on. Now they're ready to move. And yes, as you mentioned, they are planning not only for the United States, but they're planning to expand into Mexico. And possibly, I have a feeling that Mexico will be their Klondike or El Dorado in this case specifically, because I have a feeling that Mexican market starts to show strong signals that they're ready for big players to enter on this niche of consumers loan. That's it. Thank you very much to all of you. Please not forget to follow us on different social platforms, podcast platforms, and we wish you a good and productive end of the week and a happy weekend.